excited to have Nina here today. Thank you for tuning in. This is Africana that have another question, Nina. It's about sleepover.
Yes.
I know our African minds, we are a bit on this protective side, I would say.
Yes.
So we try to protect our kids and not let them go or ease them off a bit. We want to know where you are. I want to make sure you're home. I want to see you in bed by 10 p.m.
Yeah.
So there's certain age that we are more stricter on you at certain age, but sleepover is one big topic among. I've talked to a lot of parents, and some are really not so much for it.
Yeah.
They say, "Oh, why do you let your child go for sleepovers? This and this can happen." What do you think about sleepover?
I think sleepovers are very important because it helps with socialism skills, and it's hard for kids who are maybe in the same sector or section sector that I am in, being caught between cultures, to really be able to connect with other people that are not part of that culture. So sleepovers is very important in that aspect. I did wish I had abilities to go to more sleepovers as a child. And when I mean sleepovers, I'm not meaning can I go over to auntie's house for a sleepover. I mean my school friends that my mother might not know as well, who are not in our inner circle, to be able to go to their houses for sleepovers. But I think because I didn't have that ability, I was more like shy when it came around other kids, and then that it affected like the way I built relationships in the future.
Not being able to go for sleepover did affect the way you built relationships in the future. Like how what do you mean by that? Like
I mean, being able to be invited into someone's intimate space and trying to grow a friendship on a different level from when you're in school and on the playground is different. So if you're able to be with your friends in a different situational settings, then it helps you to be able to connect with other people when they're not having like guards up. So that's why sleepovers are important, because they are kind enough to invite you into their personal space of where they're most selves, most vulnerable selves. So having those abilities to make relationships that way through sleepovers helps in, I guess, the child's mind how to continue making relationships in the future.
Okay, so I really like that point though, because you do build stronger relationship with your classmates by going into their homes for sleepover, and so they are different culture, and so it's so hard for a parent coming from where I come from to say that, oh, go for a sleepover. And how do we? What would you say to a parent who thinks that it's not right to allow their child to go for a sleepover?
Well, I would tell those parents out there that, first of all, you pray over your kids. You pray that your kids...
Did your mom pray over you?
Yeah, because she will always ask, like, oh, do they go to church? Oh, how many people are in the house? Where do they live? Do they have boys? Do they have girls? She would like to know, because back home they have this mentality that in the West there's just so many like bad things happening. Like child abductions or like people doing weird horrible things to their kids, and you don't know who that person is, so they still have those views, and it also clouds their judgment to make the choice. I guess maybe in my experience, I realized the only time I was able to go to sleepovers was more in the future. And when I mean by that, like when I had a friend, let's say I met them in grade 3, I would have to be friends with them like maybe a couple years, and then if my mom always sees me with them, like leaving the school bus with them, then maybe sees their parents once in a while, then it will help to grow the rapport that they're trying to sense if this person is okay for my kid to go to their house. And then only then that's when they will have a glimmer of a gate opening to consider the sleepover.
Okay, I do get your point. So it's good for the parent also to build that relationship with your friend's parents.
Unfortunately, it just takes a little bit longer for African parents to get that. I feel.
What do you think?
We try. Bit longer.
Well, sometimes the language. Not everyone here is the same color as us. Not everyone here speaks the same language as us, and that's why it takes us a bit longer, I think. But I'm not going to speak on behalf of all the African parents. But for me, I think it's knowing what to say or what to do when you first meet them. You introduce yourself. What do we have in common? The fact that our kids are in the same school. So that's it. But that's why it makes it difficult for us to build that or cross over that bridge and allow our kids connect
together. But if you also flip it the other way, I remember once I really wanted to have a sleepover. And at the same time, I know my friends, I know who they are, and I know the way they talk to me sounds normal, the way they act sounds normal, but I know coming into my home, the way they talk might not be appreciated by my parents. Because my friends talk exactly the same way they talk to me, to their parents. And I remember having to talk to my friends, prepare them, be like, okay, you're entering my house. You can call my mother Miss this. You don't just call her by her first name. Please don't talk about any demonic stuff. Strange things. Just say yes. Thank you. Just trying to prep them, like basically giving them a pop quiz on how to act like in front of my family, because I know it might be different. And then African parents, they're always wanting to know what type of energy is coming into their house. So they'll be like, where's this person from? Who are they coming into my house? I don't know what kind of stuff they believe in. I don't want that energy. So that's another aspect of like having sleepovers in an African home too, that you have to consider. Like they're very, I don't want to say the word judgmental to people who are not a part of our own race, but it kind of has a
little bit of I think judgment. I agree with you. There's a little bit of judgment, but all for the safety of our kids, right? That's why we do it personally. That's why we judge. Well, thank you so much for joining me today.
Thank you.
And I think we should be doing more videos.
Yes,
I really like you coming on board with me. Thank you so much, Nina. Thank you for joining us. Please, if you haven't subscribed yet, please do subscribe